The last room of the exhibition is devoted to the city. Urbanism has always been at the forefront of modernist project, and Ravnikar is no different to his colleagues throughout Europe and the world. But if you've seen the tree of architecture, so a graphic design of Ravnikar as a manifesto of his understanding of what architect is supposed to do in the 20th century, this tree of architecture invites you to the exhibition downstairs. You can see that the biggest branch of this tree is devoted to the city. So all the other branches, side branches, if you will, branches that deal with design of buildings, teaching of architecture, research, art history, history of architecture, organization of professional activities, all these branches lead to this main, most important central branch of the task of architecture in the 20th century. How to build a better, more inclusive, and in all respects, kinder city for everyone. And this political as well as architectural project was given to Ravnikar as a concrete task already in 1947, when the new border between Yugoslavia and Italy divided what was previously a unified cultural space of Gorica region. So the old town of Gorica was separated from its surroundings, and this newly acquired Yugoslav territory needed its new center. The town of Nova Gorica is first and foremost Ravnikar's work, even if it wasn't completed as he planned it. So in some ways, this early urbanist project already shows Ravnikar's approach that is never dogmatically modernistic, that it's never just introducing Le Corbusier into the local context. It's always also changing it, experimenting with it, learning from the context and as well from the history of architecture to build a specifically Ravnikar vision of what a modernist city should be. So we have wide avenues, we have great public buildings in open space, but which is typical for modernist project. But how this open space is treated, the devotion to the spaces for pedestrians, not only to the automobiles, what sort of greenery is included, how to ensure that the Mediterranean city will be able to live in public spaces even in the heat of the summer, were all thoughts of Ravnikar of how to mediate between the modernist dogma and the real conditions of life in a part of Slovenia that had a long Mediterranean tradition. This is the first example of how Ravnikar was able to bridge this apparent conflict between international modernism and local conditions. Perhaps his greatest realized urbanist project, the new political, cultural, and economic center of the Slovene capital, Ljubljana, the Square of the Revolution, which is today renamed into the Square of the Republic, shows this in many aspects. It is not so much a tale about individual buildings, monumental as they may be, but it is above all a space, differentiated space of squares and streets for the pedestrian. In 1960s, when most modernist architects were prioritizing cars, this attention, grounded in the knowledge of architectural history, of spaces in sequence, of thinking of how the pedestrian moves through the city, was the basic advantage and the basic reason why Ravnikar's modernism is so easy to appreciate today. It, in a way, does not build a new city that's separated from the old medieval and Baroque town of Ljubljana, but it is added to it. And even though the houses are strictly modernist, the spaces between them learn from old, archaic spaces of old European cities. The two projects that we finished the exhibition with are projects that were never realized. New town of Skopje, destroyed after the earthquake in 1963, and the project for the new Venice, for which Ravnikar got one of the first prizes, and for a time it seemed that it might be realized, represent, in my opinion, the greatest case for why Ravnikar's architecture is not merely a tale of history, something to enjoy as an already concluded chapter of 20th century architecture, but it is also a challenge to all of us to understand how 20th century was ambitious in solving its developmental problems and in outlining a better space, a better world for everyone. I think in time of environmental and social changes and challenges, these two projects still represent a great challenge for architecture and for politics and society in general, because it shows how ambitiously we can change things and how important it is to still look into chapters of architecture history to learn about how to change problematic course of development here and now.